Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, Mighty Bjorn. Today for I have a Bjorn's Mighty Thoughts video, and what I'm going to be doing is taking some time and covering Gunsmith Simulator. This is a game that's going to soon be coming, and I got to be one of the play testers for the game. I'm going to weigh in on some thoughts and things of that while I play some footage here of the game itself, or at least what I got to play from the demo, if you will. The developer is Game Hunters, and it's Playway SA is the publisher. Playway is also the publisher for another game I have covered in the past, which is Tank Mechanic Simulator, and in many regards this is very similar to Tank Mechanic Simulator. Now, really quick, I do want to also put out there that this is not a review. It's kind of a review, but it's not really a review. I'm just weighing in on some thoughts and things I'd like to see with the game. Now, what's really cool with the game is you can pretty much customize the guns. You can tear them down, clean them up. You have to repair parts, or well, you have to clean the parts, or you have to replace the parts. I did see a mill machine there, and the mill wasn't used in the demo. What was there? Realistically, all was there was two demo guns to mess with, to do jobs on. One was a Colt 1911, which is what you're seeing now. The other one was an AK-47, and essentially what you get is you get a job. You accept a job, and you finish the job to the customer's specifications. Usually it involves restoring the handgun, well, the gun that you're restoring, cleaning it up, oiling it, things of that nature, replacing any parts that are no good, and then there's usually some customization attached to that, such as adding different kinds of accessories and etc. to the guns themselves. Okay, so the graphics look great, and the workshop is really good. Game Hunters did a really good job on the way the guns look and on the way the workshop looks. Really great. That being said, one thing that I did notice, and caveat, I think it's because it's an early access demo, is some of the gun parts don't have the right names. Now, there is a certain method to tearing down each individual gun before you clean them up, and there's a certain parts order to do the tear down. Very similar to Tank Mechanic Simulator, if you've ever played Tank Mechanic Simulator. And I am going to make a lot of comparisons to Tank Mechanic Simulator, because essentially that's what this is. This is Tank Mechanic Simulator with guns. And instead of going out to the field and recovering tanks, the guns are being shipped right to your workshop, your smith station. And from that point on, you're tearing apart the guns and cleaning them up. You're restoring them. As you can see here right now, I'm working on the AK-47, and it's filthy. It's dirty. I'm tearing it apart completely. There's a certain order I need to go through to tear each individual part off, because, you know, firing pins, extractors, you have gas. In the case of the AK-47, you have the gas tube, so you have to take apart the gas system before you can even take off the barrel, and even to get that far, you also got to take off the handguards, etc., etc. More or less, the game is a workplace simulator. That being said, honestly, it's really nothing extremely special. There's probably a lot of the simulator games like this are probably all very similar. Like, there's also Car Mechanic Simulator, and I believe there's also Airplane Mechanic Simulator. That one I'm not 100% sure of. But I mean, for me, it was very reminiscent to Tank Mechanic Simulator. But like I said, instead of tanks being the theme, it's guns. Now, you get work mats as well for whatever gun you're working on. You pretty much get like this table layout where it shows you the different parts and etc., etc. That looks great. So, like, when it comes to anything related to the workshop, they did a really good job on it. Where the game, in my opinion, really falls flat on its face is the gun range itself, and actually shooting the guns themselves. First off, it would have been nice to have hands. There's no hands. There'll be some gun range footage here soon. So once you get a couple guns torn apart, cleaned up, etc., put back together. You can load them in your vehicle, and you got to take them out to the range. Or sorry, I skipped a part. You have to do a functionality test, and the functionality test you do in your workshop. And once the functionality test is successful, you load it in your car and you take it out to the gun range. At that point, once you get to the gun range, we're cleaning it up here. Once you get the gun out to the gun range, you can actually fire the gun. You can check out the sights, etc. Honestly, I feel that's actually where the game really fell flat on its face. What they have in the workshop is just superb, and outside of the workshop itself is just really weak. Now, there's one thing I would like to recommend for the workshop too, and this is just a type of a pseudo, I would like to see this. So in the game, you actually do have a shotgun, and you can actually build your own collection, and it would be nice to actually see that collection you displayed somewhere. Maybe a cabinet, maybe a room you go into, whatever. I'm not 100% sure. So it'd be nice. That would be a nice feature to have, is to actually have a gun display. But outside of that, when it comes to the workshop, everything looked rather good. I would actually like to see the painting to be a little bit better, and maybe the painting's actually better than I think, and it's just I need more time learning the system. It is kind of clunky when it comes to doing the painting itself, or at least I think so, especially when it comes to coating and removing the paint itself. But that's a here nor there. That's a simple fix. It might be there, like I said, it might be there too, and I'm just old and shit and completely missed it. I'm gonna pop some footage up here of the gun range, and right now I'm shooting the gun range, and this is where I feel the game is weak. The gun sounds itself, just I felt underwhelmed by the gun sounds. I was not impressed. So definitely that's a big one that needs work. Now when it comes to the scenery, great job. Scenery looks just absolutely great. I like the look of the targets. The next thing too is the shooting actually needs to be a bit simplified. I noticed this. I didn't notice this with the 1911, but I noticed this with the AK. Is I had to constantly range back and forth to actually hit the target. To go from 100 meters to 200 meters with an AK-47, I should have to rearrange the scope. If the scope is set for 100 meters, it just means I need to aim a little higher. I should be able to do that on the fly by myself, and for some odd reason, I had to constantly keep ranging to even get the bullet within the realm of hitting the target. I wasn't even hitting the target at times. So if my range was set for 100 meters and the target was 300 meters away, I wasn't even hitting target. And I know for a fact, as a gun owner myself, that would not be the case. Yes, there would be drops, so if I aimed dead center, it would not hit dead center, it would hit low. But it would still hit target, and honestly, the drop would be, I think it would be 2 inches. So to go from, if your scope is ranged for 100 meters, you need to aim about 2 inches, I think it's 2 inches high. But I might be wrong on that. It's been a while since I've fired an AK, and I understand that firing an AK is not as accurate as firing an AR-15. For an AR-15, it's something like a half inch higher is what I would need to aim, if that. So it's, it's not really, there's not really any difference when it comes to the ranging. That being said, the guns themselves, they do look pretty good on the range. The range itself looks great. I love the layout of the range. I love the look at the range. It kind of gives that feeling that you are outdoors, out in nature. That's why I go out to the range on a regular basis. I like being out in the range because, hey, it's the outdoors. The gun sounds, like I said, definitely really need work. And honestly, I want to see hands. the floating gun thing is just like a no to me. Can we get just a question for the developers? Can we get some hands, please, when it comes to the range? You know, there's, you know, first-person shooter games are how old? You know what I mean? Could we get some simple mechanics along those lines? But realistically, anyway, would I recommend this game? I don't really know. Maybe if you're a real big gun nut. I mean, I am a gun nut, but I already have Tank Mechanics Simulator as well. I don't really know, honestly, if I am looking for another Tank Mechanics Simulator type game, especially because I haven't played Tank Mechanics Simulator in about a year. I have all the DLCs for Tank Mechanics Simulator, and I still have yet to play any of the play Tank Mechanics Simulator and use any of the DLC vehicles, because there was 3 free DLCs, and then there was the actual paid DLC. So yeah, I would say if you have a game already like this, I don't know if it's something I would actually spend money on. That being said, you know, I guess maybe if you're really in the market for a game like this, that's really all I can say about it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say because, honestly, there's not a whole lot to show. There's just nothing here to really show the game off, because you get 2 jobs and then you can take your shotgun out to the range. You can fit up to 4 vehicles in your Jeep. I didn't see anything along the lines of purchasing upgrades like in Tank Mechanics Simulator. Now, there is a gun broker website, but the gun broker website on the in Gunsmith Simulator wasn't operational. There was nothing there, so I couldn't buy a gun and, you know, restore it and clean it up and put it in my collection or anything. It just wasn't there. Mechanics wise, the mechanics are sound. Graphics wise, the graphics are fine. Sounds need a bit of work. That's my big thing, because I actually had the sounds, by the way, folks, I had the sound cranked up to 100% on everything in the game, and I still just was not impressed by the sounds. That's probably my biggest gripe. It is a fun little game. You know, a game like this is a fun little game for blowing stress. Oh, I want to play a game, but I don't want to do anything stressful. Game like this is great for that. You know, that's my opinion on those lines. You know, you could have some music playing in the background or whatever while you're tinkering with firearms. So, yeah, there's that kind of stuff. So we'll see anyway, folks. I mean, it's still in development. There's not a whole lot there that they're showing right now. I know there's going to be a lot more guns to the game because they've already indicated that in the Discord as well as the Steam page. But anyway, folks, that's really all I got for you. I'm not going to say I was disappointed by the experience, although I was disappointed by the range. But, I mean, it was generally a generic workplace simulator type experience that you get with Car Mechanics Simulator, Tank Mechanics Simulator, Airplane Simulator, and then, of course, now we got Gun Simulator. Doesn't reinvent the wheel, doesn't really do anything super special compared to any of the other games out there. So, kind of a disappointing, I guess, on that end. Either ways, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed what I had to say, and have yourself a wonderful day.